So this is my 92 Honda Civic, and it is not clickbait. The car is actually gone, not like a dead battery or, you know, like a locked out or like a lockout. The car is actually gone. Now, a little bit about my 92 Civic. I got it about 7 years ago. My dad drove it for his construction company as a commuter, and he gave it to me, and I built it up to the project car that you guys saw in the introduction video. Now, unfortunately, as I said, the 92 Civic is gone, but I did spend tons of money on it, and even in the days leading to the accident, I was driving up to Pennsylvania and Delaware to go pick up choice parts for the car, and so, you know, unfortunately, when I wrecked the car, I had just spent, I think, close to like $500 or $560 to be exact, and so I was completely sad. But basically, this was my project car. It was my first real project car, one where I knew exactly what was going on with the car. If the car ever stalled or died, I knew exactly what the issue was. I went from top to bottom on the motor as well as the chassis. I stiffened up the chassis. I did dynamatting. I mean, I really went above and beyond for this car, and although it did keep the original D15 V7 engine, I did full bolt-ons to this thing, and it was at a respectable 120 to 130 horsepower when the vehicle was wrecked. Now, in terms of the accident, unfortunately, it was a rainy day, and I had just gone from my summer tires, which were a 205 width tire, to my all-season tires, which were a 185 width tire. And so it was a 20 millimeter difference in footprint, and I'm not sure if it was a blowout or if it was just the car breaking traction, but I got around this big windy turn, you know, just kind of putting my way to church on Sunday, and the car broke traction, and it went sideways, and it went straight into the guardrail. Unfortunately, you know, the car was wrecked in terms of body damage, but the chassis remained strong because of all the bracing and the half race cage it had inside. My wife and I, we walked away from the accident without any injuries, so the car did its job, and that's all I could ever expect of it. In terms of the damage to the vehicle, the engine started right up. We drove it onto the tow truck, drove it off the tow truck, drove it into the garage, and the car just didn't miss a beat. Most of the damage was just body damage. I mean, it was body damage from the rear quarter panel to the front quarter panel, and then the hood and the windshield. That was the damage to it. But unfortunately, I had spent over $3,000 on this car, getting it to where it was, to where I couldn't justify fixing up the body and getting all the sheet work done on the car. So unfortunately, I had to see it off and sell it, but the car was in perfect condition. The gentleman I sold it to, well, it's a young guy. He's also into hooning, so he bought the car. And I mean, the most punk rock thing, I mean, he showed up with his friend. I asked him, where's the trailer? And he said, I thought the car's drivable. And I said, yeah, but you know, I'm not going to give you my tags. And he said, it doesn't matter, I'm going to drive without tags all the way back up to Baltimore, which is a 60-mile drive. And that's exactly what he did. I mean, he took it without tags or anything, insurance, nothing, and drove it up. Not that I condone it, but I mean, that was pretty heavy metal of him to do that. So, you know, I was very happy to see that someone that really appreciated the car was going to appreciate it moving forward. And so since then, he's been working on the car, doing the sheet metal and all that stuff, and just kind of bringing it up to its paces in terms of learning the car's limits. What else? Let's see. In terms of parts that I took out of the car, I really didn't take anything out. I probably just took out my head unit because I had just installed it and it had Bluetooth. And then also just a small subwoofer in the back. It was a little 8-inch one. Not enough to rattle any windows, but, you know, just enough for me. But unfortunately, you know, this is kind of like one of those sad stories. You know, it's a love letter. the car was a love letter to the automotive community. Even though this is the poster child for tuners and I'm sorry, for racers, I had built this car up to be, a reliable, tuned up car. And unfortunately, just through things that happened to us, the car was wrecked and all the money was gone. But all that money doesn't matter because, my wife and I walked away from the accident without any injuries. And also, every mile that I put on this car was just an absolute joy. I couldn't ask for anything else. And this car just gave me so many years of phenomenal driving and just so much fun. But, sometimes we just have to move on to different things. And so now my daily driver's a 2005 Taurus, but I am keeping my eye out for my next project car. So stay tuned. And with this, we bid a farewell to the 92 Honda Civic, also known as the Hoon. So the Honda sold and going to its new house, its new home. Really two cool guys that are taking it and gonna make it a rat tuner, so I'm pretty happy. After being wrecked, this thing is driving out hardcore. No worries. There it goes. Car's going to its new life.